Okay, ich habe gedacht, die starten den Stream. Oi, wei. Welcome back, Zach. So, let's game up 1 minute. Hello, Tolly. Hello, Sally. Tolly, jene min gelächter des. Der ist mitten der Stream, redder sie mir allein. Alright, wir warten, bis Leute kommen zurück. Nicht vergessen, liken the video. Weiß es ist ein neues Video, so please give us a like. Tully! We can breathe now, yes. Tully, Tully, Tully. When things get too spicy, yes. The internet goes. I don't know. This is music, so. Tully, thank you so much. Wenn es kommt zu Music, sie copyrighten sehr schnell. Meaning to say, sie geben es a Hack-up. Sally. Oh, Chaim, you were not a member. Sally. Hello and welcome. Thank you. Am Israel, Chaim. But yeah, took this. What do you mean, what would happen? Did he open it up? Did Izzy open up the challenge thing? I don't know if he changed the setting, but davon fragen. By the way, wenn ich do, hit the like button. Ich weiß, ich habe schon für die gebeten. Well, this is what YouTube does. My Arbeit and no. They copyright, they striken nicht, they löschen aus the stream. I guess ich bin gegangen auf 3-4 Eurovisions. Hershey is a new member? Everything good. Hello and welcome. Welcome back. Ich kann euch fahren du sein. Wo soll man ins watschen? Soll man rübergehen zu warum ich schwarzes Video oder soll man watschen Push It Pshat? Tulcha. Ich kann mir mal watschen warum ich schwarzes Video, weil ich will also watschen. Don't forget tonight. Yoili's comedy? Are you talking about that email you sent me with Yoili? Culture, you're getting the horn. Statel boy. Hello and welcome. How you doing? Can't wait to learn about his inner child. But it's not that boring, CG. Die Kims darauf suchen, als es boring. Get what I'm saying? Passarvas. Alright, and gaan we watchen Avrum Schwartz. My inner child gets wild in Baronston, Missouri. Yiddish. Let's go!
Hello, I gitten zum Mutig noch mit Tag. Ins Geheim sich an rauslassen auf ein langer Roadtrip kann Nashville, Tennessee. Sie hatte das Schmeiß. Es gemacht.
S. Lieberman. Hello and welcome.
Es ist schon dreifen, aber kommen spät bei Nacht. Morgen nächste gehen wir auschecken Nashville ein bisschen. Mittwoch gehen wir auschecken noch die Plätze in Missouri und in Arkansas bei Hashem. En Donnerstag gaan we maken de week zurück aan New York. Sie hatte das Schmeier. Let's go!
Go!
Burich Hashem, halb schon 3,5 Stunden an der Weg. Tiefer mitten Pennsylvania. Halb schon wieder in Tinkel. Gehen wir sich ausstellen, Chappen an Münchenweiser Hashem. Haben wir sich ausgestellt bei der Gasstation. Gehen wir geben ein Chapp an Münchenweiser Hashem. Beide.
CG hat nicht verstanden exactly, wo die es gewollt. Dann, when it's dark. Shai, man fragt nicht the obvious questions, you know? The obvious questions hat man in draußen. CG, sie kennen hat nicht verstanden, wo die es geschrieben. Immer hat es genommen der wrong Weg. In der red ich für mir. Ich habe lieb, du haben sieht the window offen, man sieht sie der Trunk. This is clever.
Burich Hashem, ich hab da feine Münche von Eibischten. Gehen wir sich jetzt herauslassen. Warte, haben wir noch bei Erich hat
Backed. And I kicked off the camera. I'm just saying.
Kann Nashville, Tennessee. Steh du in einer Gasstation in Virginia. Du ein Geschäft, das heißt Holzmann Express. Ich bin reingegangen zu kaufen, eine größere Coke mit Eis. Es kommt zur Person und sagen, wenn es dir geht, kannst du es nehmen für free. So, ob du das free Coke mit Eis, kannst du reingehen, du. Und hoffentlich, dann muss es auch dann beginnen. Halt mich schon, Burich Hashem, 9,5 Stunden an der Weg. Sind wir jetzt reingefahren in the State of Tennessee, Burich Hashem. Haben wir noch bei 4 Stunden Drive. Bis Nashville. Halt mich schon, du Burich Hashem, bei 12 Stunden an der Weg. Bei ein Schuh mit 15 Minuten weg.
Darf machen ein cooking video, Sally. Just his lunch video. Wie sie macht Pass Arves.
Von Nashville, die Time Zone hat sich jetzt zurückgerückt mit einem Schuh. Von 3 a.m. ist geworden 2 a.m. 2:59 a.m. Central Standard Time Zone. Sind wir jetzt umgekommen zur Roadway in Nashville, Tennessee. Gehen wir gerne nachchecken im Hotel. Ich hab mal feinen Pass Arves und dann danach ist die Hatte Schmeier. Okay, cancel. Ich kann schon nachchecken zu der Hotelhand. Ich habe ein Issue mit meinem Kartel. Sie kann nicht authorizing Security Hold. Ich darf Hotel legen ein Hold für a certain amount of money. Fahren wir check daran. So ich krieg die Bezahlung von der Raum. So gehen wir Australian Experience, was ich schon lange wollte Australien. Sie übernächtigen eine Nacht in Kar.
Nice.
Do it. Gehen wir durch einen feinen Pass Arves.
Sally, you couldn't call it. Sally, you couldn't call it. Bologna and carrots.
Hello, good morgen. Raufnacht hab ich gekannt. Schlafen, Buchgeschäft.
Galli, de Weg, wo sie sagt, dass sie hat ja gekannt schlafen, sie nicht. Derselbe Weg.
Dann hat aufgeschämt, bin ich eingeschlafen. Ich hab da drin auf dem Erich 5 Schuh. Jetzt ist 11:30 a.m. Gehen wir zu von der Gasstation, sich aufwaschen der Bohnen.
You win carrots, Sally. You win carrots.
Bias.
Where is card right when you need it? Sam, good one.
Ich hab mit viele Sachres, weiser Hashem. Burich Hashem, sich ein bisschen zusammengenommen, gehen, ich hab mit viele Sachres, weiser Hashem. Supposingly gewinnt eine starke Hecherung in Antisemitism letzter Jahren in Nashville. But, ich mach mich nicht zu dienen. Ja, der Ruplang als Sachres steht bei der Gasstation.
Ich weiß nicht, dass die Menschen in Nashville wollten gewiss, dass diese specific ist Ayid.
Leben am Main Gas, hab ich nicht helfen. Das hat gut nicht geschehen.
Ich weiß nicht, ist es Oibechochem? Ich meine, es ist die Chassidischkeit. Die Chassidim haben als Ami Chitzpah. Das hat eine Chitzpah-Sach.
Ich hab da feinem Scheichres. Es ist gut Schemburg Hashem, kein ein Antisemit hat sich schon gestellt von mir. Einmal gern, ich hab mal heiligen Pascheichres. So, für Pascheichres haben wir ein Stück refreshed Menu. Den muss ich gerne mit Sourdough.
Sally, he just outdid you. Dios gemeint, sie geht an Carrots and Bologna by itself. No.
Hat sich Cheese. Kann ich Mama schon wegkriechen von der Chamasireloni. Burich Hashem, ich hab da feine Pascheichres. Gehen wir und einem dem Tag, du in Nashville, Tennessee. Sie hatte das Schmeier. Die erste Sache, gehen wir und einem...
Ich finde mich, sie geht gehen zu the Pantheon. The Pantheon is a beautiful place.
Mit Limit hat teure. Du sind wir jetzt umgekommen zu der John Siegenthaler Pedestrian Bridge. Du in Nashville, Tennessee.
Wie viel Mal meinst du, dass practice für dem? Also darf sagen, der Nummer von der Bridge.
durch de
Weil ich noch mal schon, ein größer Mal, was ich hab, while figuring aus, wie so der Bridge heißt, noch dem ich darf versuchen in der Kamera, wir staan einfach machen 10 Takes.
River und das sind nur gemacht von Menschen zu walken. Gehen wir gerne rauf, gehen wir gerne scheine Views von oben bis jetzt zu schmeißen. So, heute darf man gehen ergens dorten, halbt sich und der Aufgang zu der Bridge. Okay, du haben wir die Steps, was führt rauf zum Brickel. Du stehst schon oben von der Bridge, gehen wir ranwacken hin bis inmitten von der Wasser. So, du stehst wir mitten Bridge, einer so.
Sehr. It feels when I read English. Yes, it's cringy, but again, how soll stoppen? Should not stop.
The Dinosaurus. Look over
The Dinosaurus. Come on, that's cute.
Du haben wir multi-talented, spielt die Gitarre, singt, ze tut sich, ze lebt sich. Ach, Großsaurus.
Jetzt gestellt in der Back, also sollte man es nicht kosten $1.
Should have seen it in color.
So surprisingly sind the views von oben terrible. Der Tag ist schmitziger für schmitzig. Ich pinklich, wo seid ihr so schmitzig, but etwas wird du getan, als dieser bleiben schmitzig. Du haben ein Port, wo steckt sich heraus.
Funny hat a... Nicht alles ist funny. Ich lach nicht, was ist funny. Ich lach, was ist odd, was ist different.
The bridge. Du haben ein Schiffel, was trugt über Garbage. So sieht es aus.
Easy, welcome.
Ich habe keine Ahnung, wie trugt es. But so wie I guess...
Seht mich auf der Weg. Ich habe nicht keine Ahnung, wie trugt das. Das ist sehr chassidisch. Das ist funny von mir.
Garbage truck, du ein Garbage Schiff. Kennst du also Recycling Items? Du haben noch ein Schiff, sieht schon aus mehr wie ein High-End Schiff.
A high-end Schiff.
Professionals heute. Dann haben wir umgekommen eine andere Seite von der Bridge. Du hinten ist du etwas als ein Park or something. Neigrig sie, man kann du auch mit dem Elevator.
Question is, wie viel Musik der Receiver? Du musst schon, du hat er a Park. No, not good. Okay, noch einmal. Du ist du a Park.
Elevator, lassen wir gerne aus.
Jack, sind nicht von Menschen wie dir. Die sind nicht von dir. Die sind geworden von Menschen, die sitzen in Heide und satt mir den ganzen Tag. Und wenn sie kommen nach Hause, ist eine gewähnt wohl für eine Woche, können sie etwas watchen. So the Tate geht sie diese watchen. You get what I'm saying? This is not meant for somebody that could watch a movie.
So sie gewähnt einmal ein Elevator, okay.
Sie ist nämlich die Sachen. Sie gewähnt, die willst, dass etwas ein Actor soll tanzen von du und ein Helikopter soll geben, ein Kappen und so schießen 14 Trucks von oben. You get what I'm saying?
Klar. So der Park zieht sich rüber zu der anderen Seite auch. Lass mal sehen, sie von dieser Seite kann man ja auch gehen. So du kann man auch gehen, but nur by steps. So du ist von Enter von der Bridge. So seht du sehr alt noch gerieben. So du machst ein bisschen von den Pictures von
Brooklyn Bridge.
The Surfside Building, was hat gelapst, wo ihr zurück in Florida. Und wir sehen, sie müssen du einen Weg, du gehen zu dem Wasser, zu der River. So du, aber nicht kann offiziell. Gehen wir müssen nehmen den Weg. Können wir getracht.
This is nicht nur a lack of Yiddish content, Penny. This is a lack of clean kushera. You get what I'm saying? Wenn die gehst dein Kind am Phone, nicht die, wenn ein Mensch, ein chassidischer Mensch geht der Phone für das Kind, darf er sein super careful. Und du weißt dass geht nicht gut nicht, weiß nicht, absolutely gut nicht, but hält die Kinder busy.
Sie walken auf dem, sie durchwalken zu jener Insel. But, ich habe auch gesetzt auf dem.
Je bleibt hier, kannst du dich hier rein.
Die schwächste schaukelt sich, so wie ich eine anstellen. Aber der River ist schmitziger für schmitzig. Schrecklich, du, der geht vor. Das ist mein eigener Edition, Donation zu der schmitzigen Tag.
Se du LG, und auch du Schmitz. But für Ayid, LG und Schmitz ist dieselbe Sache. You get what I'm saying? Ezra Badansky hat andere Mine Travel. Kann ich aufwachen zweimal. Aber
Watch meine Videos, kannst du dich bemerken, als mein Englisch ist nicht der Beste. Englisch ist mein...
Oh, Zach. Adress dich, du. Ich mach Rewind, weil ich will das hören. Und by the way, ranwerfen Cigarettes in a... This? Not a do. I don't.
If du watch meine Videos, kannst du dich bemerken, als mein Englisch ist nicht der Beste. Englisch ist mein second language. Meine erste language ist Yiddish. But sehr Sachen in Leben ist ja wichtig, sie können gute Englisch für Business oder für andere Zwecken. Wegen dem Englisch... Thank you. Hey, wo Hashem, sind wir zurückgekommen mit der anderen Seite. Gehen wir zurück zum Karen, gehen wir Mamsch zusammen mit dem Tugumsiat der Schmeier. Jetzt gehen wir sich herauslassen mit Siat der Schmeier, halbe Schuhe heraus von Nashville. Du Warner Parks, also ein ganzes Zusammenhang
Says du, wenn einer macht Videos, kickt man, wieso man kickt aus. Is just shoot a shot. Flieht, das ist
in de parks. En ze zijn doen in de hoge 70ers, gaan we gerne ein bisschen enjoyen de wetter. Sie hatte de Schmeier. Sie haben jetzt so reingefuhren in der ganze Warner's Parks Situation. Viel mit kleinen Parks, kleine Plätze, so gut Syrien. Das ist ein geschmackter Platz. Gehen wir treffen an einen Winkel, wie sie gut sich stellen, aber es leider annehmen, de meibestens Brie. Haben wir sich da auch gestellt, es ist moeidig geschmack den Environment durch. Ich kann es schmatzbar sein. Es ist 70 degrees, sehr warm. Meer de feiglich, bei mir, still. Es ist moeidig geschmack du.
Man sieht der Herr mit der Phone, steht anders out. So one human showed up.
Es leider annehmen, von dem meibestens scheine Brie. So, du hat eine gemacht a Campfire, sie gestanden als sein, aber tun ich mach kein Fire. So hat der Tag auch geschossen von dem. Rup damit, bei uns zum Mucke hat er ausgeführt, gemacht a Campfire, du. Burech Hashem, haben wir verbringt du ein bisschen, wir sind gescheine Gina, haben gemacht das Bade, das gemacht das Stückel Kumsitz, moeidig Geschmack gewähnt. Gehen wir sich jetzt rauslassen zu der nächsten Destination, bis jetzt.
Es sich Schienisch übergedreht, du. Jetzt darf man das rewinden, of course.
Verbringt du ein bisschen, wir sind gescheine Gina, haben gemacht das Bade, das gemacht das Stückel Kumsitz, moeidig Geschmack gewähnt. Gehen wir sich jetzt rauslassen zu der nächsten Destination, bis jetzt. Fuhr mir jetzt darauf auf Natchez Trace Parkway.
Oh, ich bin gewinn in Natchez Trace Parkway. So geht all the way from Cherokee, North Carolina, all the way up due to the Shenandoah Mountains. Shenandoah River.
Ein scheine Drive, für mal, noch zu kennen, scheine Views. Jetzt gehen wir nur fuhren auf dem jetzt 6 Mal. Gehen wir auschecken, ob es interessante Brittel. Scheine stille Rot, läuft was so zwischen bei mir. Das läuft mal. Ein Tag will ich noch zurückkommen nachher. Sie covern dem ganzen Rot, bis sie hatte das Schmeier. Kann man mithalten, ein scheine Sunset von zwischen dabei mehr. Beautiful.
Says du, the Blue Ridge Mountains. So do the Blue Ridge Parkway, and noch damit do the Natchez Trace Parkway. This is beautiful.
So this is the Natchez Trace Parkway Bridge. It's a moeidige scenic Platz du in Tennessee. Dort oben läuft der Natchez Trace Parkway. Und dann sind wir dort nach Ruge gefahren und nach Ruge kommen du enden. Das ist von den höchsten Bridges du in Tennessee. Und es ist bekannt für die Uniqueness, was sie gebaut. Anders wie regular Overpasses. Mehr mit das Arc Design. Es ist moeidig schein, es ist 3 hoch. Du stehen wir uns in den Bridge. Wow, Murabi Masechu Hashem, so scheint das. Und der beautiful sunset in the background ist auch schon wegzumachen. Ich habe mich stellen, da wir mich verneiben. In der Meantime gehe ich los meine Kamera so auch haben, schneller halt wie sie wird, denke. Burech Hashem, ich hab da feine Menschen, immer ich hab mal scheine Shot von der Sunset. Thank you Hashem. Ganz geht raus aus einer 4-Schuh-Reise, kam Polar Bluff, Missouri. Wie dort gehen wir übernächtig in der Nacht bei Hashem. Burech Hashem, auch noch bei Erich Hashem mit 20 Minuten.
Viel wie schreit mich auch nicht einmal.
Ich bin Polar Bluff und sind wir jetzt hereingefahren in Missouri, mein 33. State zu basieren. Burech Hashem, Burech Hashem, es ist 10:30 p.m. Sind wir jetzt umgekommen zu Super 8 Hotel, du in Polar Bluff, Missouri.
Zach. Kick everywhere else besides this fest.
Nach einer Weg in 3,5 Schuhe, stutz in 4 Schuhe, gehen wir gerne anchecken im Hotel und einem der Nacht, sie hat das Schmeier. Burech Hashem, und da kommen nach feinem Geschmack hier rum. Gehen sich setzen, sie haben gehoben ein paar Service. So, gehen sich setzen, sie in.
The carrots and the bologna.
Paar Service. Können nochmal den Schrein von Frühstück, feines Stücklich Sourdough, Baby Carrots mit feiner Salami. Kommt heute Schuder, gehen wir machen an Ersel.
A push at the chiller. How you doing?
I am halt nicht.
And by the way, sag mal, es gibt so Sachen, wo es, a viele in sehen wir es nicht wie moeidig interessant. You get what I'm saying? But other people seeing this beautiful, weißt? had 2,700 views.
Oh, laat me gewoon een beetje fan. So they waren het special reserve, so waren van Loafers. Zij zei ik smaak de maand, maar letzte stark beliefd erin. Gewöhnlich gingen ze de groeten te drinken waren als aan mijn kop. Maar Loafers waren, dat is schon etwas anders. Morgen wo ich schon mit sich fein ausgeriet, gaan we gaan gaan paar Schachers, mit ein paar Schachers, en gaan luchten unheimlich dem Tugesjahr zu schmaaien.
Daran geht mir, Jude. So, wo soll man watschen? De Eulen will ich soll weggehen. Wo soll man watschen?
Ich hab da fein am Schachers, but man gemisst da rausschicken von einem Hotel, because schon geworden spät, so gehen wir ein paar Schachers durch in Kaar. Haben wir ein paar Schachers, feine Sourdough mit feine Cheeseburger Sham. Burger Sham, jetzt gehen wir jetzt heranfuhren in mein 34. State zu basieren, the State of Arkansas. Sehen wir, der ungekümmert sie Mammoth Springs State Park, du in Arkansas. Du haben sein mutiger scheine Water Dam, gehen wir das gerne ausschicken, sie hat das schmeier. Und haben sie ein Welcome Center, lass mal sehen, was haben sie verkaufen, du. Du haben sie Film mit Magnets, Souvenirs, du haben sie Sachen so eine Chais zu verkaufen. In Arkansas.
Sam, nicht nur die 16 fuhren in der Left Lane. Ist noch Pass Arves leben der.
Du sagst sich plötzlich, wie man Gruppe da scheine Steine mit Diamonds. Mit
Freidel Wiesnel und Ari Abramovic. Sollen wir watschen das? Der Eulen will ich so changen zu Ari Abramovic.
Von der Erde, so du haben sie.
Jetzt darf man noch einer soll, wie heißt das? Sagen haben wir soll es watschen, and then we are there.
Sachen smart ausgeschäbt von dem. Chais ausgeschäbt für Stein.
Okay. Lass mal sehen. Da. I'm going to see Friday Wiesel's channel.
I don't live a celebrity life, and
Okay, Friday Wiesel. Oh, wie heißt der? Abramovic. Okay, ich kann nicht wissen, wer mir redet. Okay.
neither does anybody in the Hasidic community that we could, label with the label of celebrity. Celebrity just means that I do a certain work, that everybody knows me for that. It's not like the guy that lives in Beverly Hills and he's surrounded.
Welcome back. My name is Frida Weisel, and here I cover topics related to Judaism, New York City, and very often Hasidic Judaism, which fascinates me greatly, as it's the world that I come from. As an ex-Hasidic woman, I've explored many facets of the society here on this channel, always hopefully in a humanizing way. Today, I'm really excited to have on for a guest, 20-year veteran of the Hasidic Yiddish entertainment scene, the actor, comedian, director, and multi-talented Ari Abramowitz. You might not have fathomed this, but there's a whole fascinating world of Hasidic entertainment that's just about bursting with energy and talent. I actually have a collection on my channel of Hasidic Yiddish ads, which I translate so it can reach a wider English-speaking audience. And oftentimes you'll see Ari as the comic relief character or acting in these advertisements. I was beyond excited when he reached out, to be honest. After 4 years of doing this work on this channel, he was the first male celebrity to propose an interview. And I'm so excited to share a bit of behind the scenes of this very special subculture with you all today. So thank you, Ari, and hi.
Hello, how are you?
Good. How's it going? First of all, Mazel Tov on your new baby. Can I say that for everyone?
Thank you. Yeah, sure.
Wonderful. So very exciting. Yes. Can we say it's baby number 8?
It's baby number 8. Yes. But
baby number 8. Oh my God.
Thank God is baby number 8.
Woo.
Now I don't know when this is gonna air, but
55 minutes.
It's now, I would say, almost 2 weeks old. A little bit of more than a week. Yeah, we just had the Wachtnacht and the bris. We named the baby Shemen, which is very special for me because of my connection to Shem Vaychai, who is one of the previous sages, for those who don't know the history behind it. And yeah, it's very exciting.
Lovely. Does it get easier with baby to baby to baby?
I think that the big change is probably from 2 to 3, because that's when it becomes like.
Noch 7 weiß man nicht, man hat das. Like, man kommt zum Sogen in Schiel, bei der dann Papa got a baby. Oh, Mazel Tov.
More of a family, and it's not anymore, you know, when you want to go out, it's not just let's run out, get a babysitter. It becomes already a whole thing. But by now, my oldest one is almost 18 already, so we're really having our hands full. It's really a full family, Baruch Hashem, and we're very grateful. And it becomes more beautiful with every baby.
Do you drive a giant 15-passenger van?
No, I actually drive a small car. My wife drives a minivan, and when we have to go somewhere, everybody together, we usually go with both cars.
I see. Okay. So maybe, how about maybe tell me before we talk about the entertainment scene, which fascinates me. I would love to hear your own story. Where are you from? Who's Ari Abramowitz?
So, who's Ari Abramowitz? My story is fascinating and not fascinating at the same time. Meaning, it is very fascinating for me because I really enjoy.
The Hillam needed van Aftula Ben Basia. May he make a full recovery.
My upbringing, and I really enjoyed my life from whenever I can remember myself. I was actually born in Israel. We moved to the United States when I was approximately 4 years old. So I basically grew up here, learned the language here, learned how to speak really and communicate here. So my first language is Yiddish, not Hebrew, even though at home we do speak Hebrew. So I do have a pretty decent Hebrew, but it is more like a second language. English I picked up later in time. The more I used it, obviously, the better it became. I grew up in Williamsburg till around either 13 or 14. I think it was like somewhere around that time that we moved over to Bar Park. My parents were always very supportive and backing me with everything that I did, whether when I was a little kid and, you know, in yeshiva and learning or whatever it is, and later on in life when I took my different ventures, whether it was in acting, teaching, writing, whatever I did, they were always backing me. They're probably my biggest fan still today. So that's basically who I am. I got married when I was about 22 years old.
That's a little old, no?
Yes and no, meaning I was not considered old, I think, among my friends. So I got married. I lived first in Bar Park for quite a while, and for the past 10 years we've lived in Pomona, which is next to Muncie, New York. I was always fascinated by entertainment. I don't know why, but I always loved it, and I always had an opinion. I used to always gather my friends in the neighborhood and then make different shows, and I have a neighbor that whenever he meets me, he's like, yeah, you kept me up every Shabbos afternoon, you didn't let me nap. You're only part of your legacy, or whatever you want to call it. So yeah, that was my upbringing.
What kind of entertainment did you grow up with in Williamsburg and then in Bar Park?
It's basically the same thing. For me, Williamsburg and Bar Park wasn't that big of a difference because my family, we were very welcoming and very understanding. By my parents, there was never such thing as talking negative about anybody else. My mother would literally have heart attacks if we started talking negative about anybody. It makes no difference there who it is, what it is.
Got it. I just want to interject and explain what our discussion here is really about. Bar Park is considered more modern than Williamsburg. So kind of going from Williamsburg to Bar Park, it built into my question is the assumption that you went to a more liberal place. And you're saying you...
Sam, I see a few OTDs made it on YouTube. So it's not that bad after all to leave. They say no, the ones with the hairst. You get what I'm saying?
Grew up essentially liberal anyway. In Williamsburg even, there was an openness.
For me growing up, it was never like, nobody was a stigma. Nobody was different. We were all beautiful, amazing people. And any rabbi, any leader was always extremely respected by my parents, no matter which sect and which part of Judaism. So I grew up...
Sie hat nicht kein jüdischer Channel, Sam. Sie hat Menschen von den draußen, von der Circle, wo sie willen verstehen der Circle, hat sie gebaut, da geht Window, als Menschen von den draußen sollen verstehen. Sie do Channels, wo sie gemacht worden von Menschen inside the community, aber ihr Channel ist mehr in draußen. Weißt du, darf kein Bridge, mehr als wie ein Platz man soll verstehen. A bridge, okay, Penny, I'll give you that.
There was the cassettes that we used to listen
So, they sind nicht echt für uns, in a sense.
to, which were either of previous shows that were made.
In Avrumi Schwarz videos is gemacht worden von Menschen tief in the circle. You know what I mean?
Plays by men, right?
There are some very famous names out there. The Letzte Gedanke is like, if you ever heard of The Letzte Gedanke, I'm sure you grew up on that.
Remind me.
The Letzte Gedanke was with Zamel, the famous comedian.
The one with zoom around the garbage?
There you go.
Oh, nothing. I just want to check the information here. Is your name Esther Stinkowitz?
Qu'est-ce que t'as de nom?
Your name Esther Stinkowitz?
It's my wife.
Oh, it's his wife.
So he's traveling with his wife's passport? Can't do that. It's against the law.
Zoek ze daar vibes. Die komt met de vibes.
Ja,
9,400 views.
dat is met de woord.
Eindhoven.
Zie voor ik dus morgen kwam en door met mannen.
He said good. He said that she used his the last time, so now he used hers.
What's that?
So that was, I think that play was something like 50 years ago or something like that. I don't know the exact number. I mean, way before my times. But the cassettes we would still listen to. And then whatever were the plays at that time. And in addition, there were also certain albums that came out at the time that were, I think it was like stories acted out, but like just in the studio type of thing. So I always loved that as well. And then there were in
How
my
try to get to English?
and it's still going on, what they call the Bobov place, which is the Bobov sect of Chassidim. They do a play to raise money for what is called Karen Chasana, which is basically helping people in need when it comes time to marry off their children. So to raise money for that, they do a play twice a year. Which is usually a very low
Wo ist die ganze, die Play, wo es hat früher geredet werden?
budget play, and it's really meant for like kids, you know, just to go and enjoy themselves. So I grew up with those plays as well. Then I felt like the luckiest man alive when my father agreed to take us to a play called Aslich Sagt in Kiev, which is till today considered the play that kind of changed, I could say, the perspective on Yiddish plays in the community. And when my father agreed to take us to that play, it was phenomenal. It was like a dream come true. I remember I was sitting there just like eating up the stage. I was enjoying every second of it. And I was a little kid at the time. I was probably...
Yiddish people are the best in comedy, yes, because me laat them eerste. Comedy komt eruit in pain. So, yeah, that's why.
8, 9, I don't remember which year it was, but I was just fascinated by the ideas and the makeup and the costumes and the actors. And I remember I asked, so where did they go when they're not on stage? What happens there? I was just like, it was, for me, this was like, you know, entering my world. And from there on, I kind of constantly followed the plays that were always... There were always plays in the community, usually on Chol Hamoed, which is either on Pesach or on Sukkot. So I always went to the place, and this is what I grew up with. And then came camp, and that was like a whole new world of entertainment, because in camp, I remember I was looking forward because the councils are doing the big play by the end of the summer. So I was always looking forward for that. So yeah, I always grew up with entertainment, and I always loved it.
The plays that you're referring to, they only happen like twice a year, right? During the holiday Passover and during the holiday Sukkot, and there's like a workup for like months. Everyone is getting ready for it.
Yes. So I'm right now, as we speak, I'm working on a play that is going to happen on Passover, and at the same
And we're
time,
talking now in February, and it's for April, right?
yeah. So it's in about 2 months from now, or give or take. And then I'm already working. We're already almost done writing the play for Sukkot, which is, I believe, September. October, something like that. So so it's always months in advance. It's usually, right now I'm working on 2 because I'm working for 2 different companies that are doing plays, but there are 3 main companies that do the plays these days, and each one does it about every year and a half or something like that, like give or take, because we give each other the opportunity. So right now I'm actually working on 2. I'm working on a 3rd one also, which someone is putting together for the day after Purim. Purim is on a Friday, and the play is going to be on Sunday, so we're working on that as well. Mm-hmm. So right now is very interesting because I barely have that I'm working at once on 3 huge productions at the same time. But yeah, it's a lot of work.
Can I come to the Shushan Purim play that you just mentioned to see it?
So most of these plays is boys only, men only. Especially the Shushan Purim one is really going to be probably, as far as I'm understanding, for a younger age. But however, on Shushan Purim night, I do a production in Munkach by the Tish of the Rebbe, which is a beautiful Tish all around, and it ends with a play that we do. And for that, you're for sure more than welcome. That the lady section is open, and you can come watch it.
So where are the performances usually? What kind of auditoriums, and how big is the audience?
So it depends. I think the biggest audience that we have is when we do, I believe, in NJ which is in New Jersey. It has, I believe, approximately 3,000 seats or something like that, and we usually do 4 shows. However, we have done in smaller auditoriums. Like for instance, the last big show that I did was with a new company, so he did it in a different auditorium. So we had in
Sam. Ay. Matthew. So da wir gedenken mogen getext at the beginning, whatever, pflege ich aber getext ein, haben wir geschrieben Passover. Noch a couple of messages, ich hab jenem getroffen. Jenem fragt mich, wo schreibst du nicht Pesach? So ich war Passover, ist auch geringer zu spellen. Weil der hat sie einem mit raus, sucht man Sukkot, you know?
4 shows, we had approximately...
Is he okay? Was nicht?
I think like 7,000 or 8,000 people that came to watch.
Does it make money?
Let's put it this way. It's for someone to invest in it.
He lost a lot of weight, yes. Ich meine, hat 8 Kinder, so... Could be he went through a transformation or something.
it's really a hobby more than a business. Because even if you do make money, you put in so much work and so much time, and how much money do you make back already that it should be worth it? I always tell people, imagine if I tell you, put in $1 million into a business, work for a year, and your profit by the end will be $10,000.
Yeah.
Which is basically what we're doing almost. Now, I myself, I'm not the
Ozempic. Oy vey.
producer and the investor. I'm on the other end. So for me, it's part of my yearly budget. It's part of budgeting my year. I know, okay, there's going to be a show, there's going to be this, there's going to be that, and it all goes into the calculation of the budget of the year.
Back to your childhood entertainment, I just want viewers who don't have a frame of reference of how revolutionary the entertainment scene is to understand that you grew up, like, you didn't grow up with movies, right? You didn't grow up with, or did you grow up with Uncle Moishi, for instance?
So my family was very liberal in that aspect, so I wasn't completely sheltered. But for the audience to understand, the average kid, at least in my days, today it's a little bit different, did not get to watch barely anything. Very few that would watch things from the outside world, but even things that were, like you mentioned, Uncle Moishi, who gave out, his videos which were meant for kids. Most of the kids that I grew up with did not watch that and had no access to that. And their entertainment was mainly listening to cassettes, some of music and some of what I mentioned before, of previous plays. And then there were those that were lucky enough to...
Sadly, by some, Uncle Moishi was like Uncle Roger. Heert hem de shows.
To shows twice a year. There were very few that got to rewatch a play.
On DVD.
This is pre-DVD days. This is we're talking about VHS days.
Yes.
Now, it meant that most of them did not have a machine at home, right? So it meant, there were certain places that rented a screen with a VCR, and you had to buy or rent the cassette and get it to your house, hidden in a garbage bag or whichever way you got it.
Oh, you're bringing back memories.
And those were big machines. We're not talking about these little screens that we have today. So for most kids, it wasn't even an option. They did not grow up, and their entertainment was clearly that. But don't forget, we also grew up in a time where we entertained ourselves. And in a sense, I'm very grateful for that. Entertainment meant that I got home and I went out.
Penny zoekt bij zijn huis geen Karlbach was Oeser. Das heißt, MBD, Avrum Fried, das alles gewesen Oeser bei a certain Hazer. Nur jonte weerlich.
With my friends, I did not sit in front of a screen.
Yeah.
So
Is it the same for your kids today?
in a certain sense, yes and no, because my kids do have access to watch certain things, yet controlled. So we're talking about a laptop that, they put in a DVD that is already half scratched and they rewatch and rewatch it. And then my son would also sit for hours and watch the camp videos, the plays that they did in camp and comedy skits that we did in camp. So all these things they put together on like a USB thingy. It's probably, I don't know, like 3 hours of footage, maybe even more. So my kids could sit with that for hours as well. So it's not like they come home and they plop down on the couch and take the remote and start scrolling channels.
So the entertainment that both you had and their children have is I'm assuming, men only performing.
Not necessarily, because today's days there are a lot of
DVDs even exist today? Nah, keine Ahnung, nicht DVDs. Now his kids will be thrown out. Nah, it is an act that they make.
plays for girls. They even movies now for women. So obviously my son that is 18 years old is not going to sit down and watch it, just also because he's not interested in that. Like he would look at it like, girly and foolish and whatever. Like it's not something that would even like
Resonate for him.
it's not something that I have to tell him that it's not for him. Like it's not even like up his alley. But my daughters will sit and watch those plays over and over and over again. So there's really no mix entertainment, because the plays and the movies that are done in the kosher world mostly, as far as I know, do not have men and women on it. And then you have different shows. You have there's a show now, I just hear it in the background, Dr. Schnitzel, that like has like a whole science show for kids. It's like one of these like kids shows with a bunch of science things that he tries out. So I know my kids are very into that, and because I always hear them arguing over which one to put on. So I know that it exists. So there is today's days a lot more entertainment than it was when I was growing up, 100%. And not only that, entertainment got
Obviously, du mer, du Avrum Schwarz. Let's go.
on the level.
It's funny because I feel like people who are coming of age now have missed our generation where we saw the shift happen,
Right.
where we saw how things just went from almost no entertainment world. I don't know how this bubble once a year that you listen to 1 million times, you knew it by heart, to this whole explosion that is extremely ambitious, creative, energetic, and a lot of the things that I've been collecting because I found it so interesting, you're in them. So my question back to you and your own personal journey is, when did you start to be an actor? What happened? I didn't even know there was such a thing as an actor as a child.
Yeah, so I really don't know what pulled me first.
Oh, Zach. Zach gegangen is de dentist ook daar. Oder so, JCPenney en Walmart dat. Wie is er gegangen JCPenney's at? JCPenney. I think so.
As I said before, like I did have like on the block or whatever, we would do like Shabbos afternoon, we would do like plays in a certain sense. The first time I actually went on a stage, it was very interesting. I was in camp my first year. I would say maybe 9 or 10 years old, something like that. It was my first year, so everything that I
Mijn eerste play was ich geact of. Ich gaat das echt stage fright. Ich bin gewein a badiner, gewoon nicht gedacht in. Ich noch aufgemest mein Part. You get what I'm saying? Ich kann Deutsch sein, just still.
was something new that I just found out. So there was color war in camp, where camp gets divided into two teams. All types of races and things, very interesting. Now, I had no idea what else is involved in color war. So one of the counselors came over to me and he tells me by break time or whatever it is, meet me there and there. Now, I had no idea what's going on. I thought for sure I'm in trouble. I probably did something wrong and I was trying to think through my day, what could I have possibly done? When I get there, I meet there, another few kids, I don't know, 5, 6 boys that were standing there, and they're all looking at me like, oh, you're also being in the play? I'm like, hold on, what? So that's when I found out that part of color war is that we're putting up a play. And for some reason, that specific counselor in camp just I guess saw me and saw the way that I'm...
Oh, sadly, yeah. I was never meant to be quiet. Nee, ich hab mir schicken stage fright gehabt. Oder noch alt, but damals crazy. So, yeah.
myself and just figured I want to put him on stage. And that was really the first time that I got to go on stage, for real.
What was your role?
I was actually, if I remember correctly, I was actually acting a groom in the day of his wedding, and the person that...
By the way, as ob einer hat ein Minkatsche Play von a while back, eine von der Plays, bin ich innes. Ich sing dort and stuff like that. Mach jetzt der Mann.
Some rich person is paying for the wedding, because the groom didn't, the families didn't have any money, so some rich person paid for the wedding, and he didn't show up. And that's when they knew to go looking for him, and they went looking for him, and they found him somewhere in the woods, whatever, where some bad people caught him, and they wanted to kill him or whatever it is, and he got saved. Some kind of a story to that effect, if I remember correctly. This is bringing back a lot of memories. So
because in merit of his charity,
Yes.
this rich person's charity, he was saved from the bandits in the woods.
So something to that effect, if I remember correctly. But I think it was something intertwined with Hanukkah as well. I don't even know. It was such a long time ago. But when you ask me now, it's kind of bringing back some kind of a memory. So that was actually my first time really on stage, and it was interesting because
Hat geht weg von reden. I'll give him that.
having to act like a groom was very interesting for me because my sister got married not long before, and my brother-in-law by the wedding was probably the only groom that I got to see what a groom acts like during a wedding. So I was kind of copying what I saw him doing, and they loved it. And since then I became the kid in camp that was always pulled on stage whenever they needed someone to play a role. And that just boosted up my whole idea of acting and that whole concept.
Did you think this could be a career? Because it wasn't the concept of a career when I was.
It wasn't a concept of a career, I would say, till 10 years ago maybe. Meaning I did it and I made some money off of it and it was nice, but I never looked at it as this is something that I might be doing almost it might become a career. And I would say about 10 years ago is when...
Is nicht gewesen bei Studio, in the studio of YouTube, the videos?
It turned to okay, this might actually be something.
It's funny. I remember that when I heard that people play sports for a career, I was so confused. I was like, how does anyone make money when you play with the ball? Where does the buying and selling happen in the arts? It takes a while to realize there's a lot of other ways to make money
On-time
nowadays.
studios,
Being in world advertisement through your exposure.
Right, there's video exposure, there's advertising, then there are the shows, and we do have...
Ja, is sehr smooth and sehr pleasant. JJ, I'm with you on that one.
recordings I have recordings of Kamavase. I write for different magazines that I write for, which is technically all in the same entertainment industry in a way. And then I am a storyteller, so I go around telling stories. We have a beautiful thing called Avasabanim. Avasabanim, the literally translates into fathers and children, which is on every Saturday night in almost every synagogue in the tri-state area and probably worldwide by now. There is a program for fathers to come learn with their children, which is a beautiful, beautiful thing. They sit there, they go over there, whatever they learned in school that week. Some bring along their homework and they do it over there with their parents. Some just, do their own thing. Some do a special thing that they learn, every week. And it's beautiful. It's one of the most amazing things probably that was discovered within the community. And today's days, literally every single synagogue has some kind of program, and then they raffle out prizes, and certain places give pizza for the kids or some danishes or whatever it is that they give them some kind of snack or food or whatever it is. And then usually there's also story time. In the synagogue where I go to, the congregation that I belong to, I officially am the one running this program, which means that I give a story there every week.
Are Hasidic audiences fantastic audiences because they're so not tired and accustomed to all the stories, so they're so hungry for entertainment?
Yes and no. Meaning we have set the bar very, very high these days. Meaning boys will expect the counselors in the camp to put up a production similar to the ones that they see on, during the year. And it's almost impossible. So the bar is set very, very high. And when something, comes out and it's not that, fine, whether it's in the story or the acting or the production or whatever it is, you will hear feedback about it. However, I did see that while the show is going on, people are here to be entertained. They're here to have a good time. They're not here to criticize you. Now, if it's very obvious that the show is just, not interesting, That's one thing. But in general, if the show's okay, if people are entertained, they just want to be entertained. The question is what kind of feedback you'll get afterwards. And since the bar is set so high, we really have to make sure that we always reach that beyond.
At which point did you become a celebrity? And what does it mean to be a Hasidic celebrity? I'm sorry that I use the term, but I'm using it very loosely.
It's okay. At which point did I become a celebrity? I'm not sure. It's just a fact of life, really. It's a fact of life that wherever I'm going, people know me and people stop me and people give comments. There are definitely people that do not know me and possibly people that never heard of me. I mean, the community is huge. However, anybody that's tuned into entertainment knows me from somewhere because they have watched some of the things that I'm involved in. And they've listened to some of the recordings that I was involved in. So I constantly get stopped.
Het is interessant, sie gefragt dezelfde question, was ich gefragt. Was ist mit fame? In fame meint als Menschen kennen dir. You go?
Not just here in tri-state area. If I'm in Israel, I get stopped over there. From the most conservative to the most liberal, from every side of the spectrum, and not just Yiddish speaking.
Brooklyn, you can't say that anymore. Do you get stopped? Yes. Ich bin gewesen, Freitag, bin ich gewesen bei der Grocery, and there was a guy there who hat das einfach gesehen. Er sucht mir like, hey, ich bin jener und jener of the chat. And I'm like, oh, hello. So, yeah, it's actually nice. It's actually nice.
It's fascinating.
Totally. You stop me when you see me? Was ist das, Totally? Totally gedenkt mich noch, sag, fahr ich bin gewesen du auf YouTube, huh?
How it's worldwide. So I have to be very aware of that. I don't want to give the wrong image to people, especially to children. So if I'm in the synagogue and they're in the middle of that.
But was ja, wenn man wagt sie, in man act wie man kämmach, und ich habe nicht keine Ahnung, wer du bist, ist nicht dann negative. You get what I'm saying? Die Geister haben dieselbe Response, because ich weiß nicht, wer du bist. Vergiss nicht, dass ich sehe dich nicht. Nur die sehst mir. So, als ich frage, wer du bist, ich wagt sie, ich bin der und der, so weiß ich at least, wer man redt.
Of praying, and I want to tell my friends something that
I will buy your groceries.
next to me. I actually have to think more than just the fact of I don't want to.
Can you share who that was? Ich weiß nicht, weißt du, was jij will? Ich soll sharen. Es ist nicht so, wie ich bin reingerannt in einem. Whatever, I don't want to give out the info. You know, keeping it hush.
During prayers.
Totally, wenn ich sehe dich, zoek ich wel. Weil totally ken ich. You know, if I don't know you, I've never seen you. Easy. No, das ist kein confidence. Please. Just wagt sie, ich sage mir, ich bin Izzy. Find an YouTube. Und ich kann sagen, oh, hello. In meinem Kopf hat gleich gehen sie, der Button, but reiß nicht oben. So ich machen ein Comment wegen der Button.
But also the fact of there's a child sitting right across from me, and
Maybe it was me. Maybe. No, es ist nicht gewesen dir. Es ist nicht gewesen dir, Brooklyn.
in a sense, it's weird for me to say these words, but for conversation's sake, I don't know if he looks up to me, but at least in a certain sense, he sees me as some kind of a figure. And I don't want him to see that figure as someone that does things that are not proper and that are not right. So I in a sense, I have to keep that in mind. Most adults that come over to me, and I'm not talking within my circle people that I talk to every day, a guy that I just met for the first time, and he comes over to me and says, I'm sure you hear it a million times, but I'm also going to say it. I watch your things or whatever it is. And I always tell them, no, I would love to hear 1,000,001. Thank you so much for... And
Ik ga nog gezegd een miljoen moe, but I can understand what he's saying.
I mean, it is nice to hear back feedback, but it's a fact of life. It's a fact of life that when I walk in the streets of Bar Park and there's a bus passing by with kids, I will hear my name yelled out of the bus.
Het is zo wie wenn ik ben geweest in Minkatsch. Ik ben geweest naar kindergarten hebben in Minkatsch. En ook ben ik geweest naar waiter. Ik heb ongehouden mijn carrière in Minkatsch as a waiter. En ik ben geworden naar kindergarten hebben. Später die Jahre noch gewagt in Brooklyn. Fliegen zei ik schreien, Viggy, Rebbe Viggy. We zijn schon geen älter.
It's very different than being a celebrity in the wider world, right?
Right, because I don't live among celebrities. It's not like the guy that lives in Beverly Hills and he's surrounded by his type of people and he goes to a restaurant with his type of people.
Yeah.
I don't live a celebrity life, and neither does anybody in the Chassidish community that we could, label with the label of celebrity. Celebrity just means that I do a certain work that everybody knows me for that.
Yeah.
What do you do if you see my whole gang approaching you? Most probably smile, back away, dial 911 in montage, and just mind my own business.
The guy that works in the grocery, the people that work in the grocery know him. So they would compliment him on putting out the shelf so beautifully.
Totally think I'm going to Viggy. Are you enjoying? Inside joke, totally, huh? Stop with the inside jokes.
And making sure that everything is stacked up. The thing that I do for a living is a very public.
So, wenn ich mir gewähnt Kindergarten Rebbe, habe ich gesucht für die Kinder, als man darf mich riefen Rebbe für die Position. In Viggy, weil das ist mein Nummer. Es ist eine Tata von einer Kind, das ist angewachsen in Camp. Und kommt sie und fragt mir, wer ist, sagt so still, Rebbe Viggy. Sag ich ihm, ich. Kijkt mich gewoon oh my god. Zijn gewend sie mischt.
I could almost say public service. And people enjoy it. So automatically people feel like, they want to comment and they want to say something.
Weil wie gut man das? Ich bin bei Nussen Biller. Matas Biller, Nussen Biller. Ich denke nicht, welche Jahr sie gewesen. Darf checken.
I was once giving a tour in Williamsburg and I was walking and this guy says, "Are you the tour guy?"
Gang 98 sounds like a nice gang. The Tickle Gang, huh?
And then I look at him and I think, "Oh, this is Barry Weber." So I said, "Are you the singer?" But you look like an ordinary person walking in Williamsburg with his tallis spot with going to pray. And he just asked me if I'm the tour guide. But it's like in the Hasidic community, everyone is in the pot together, and there's no anonymity. Once you're a public figure, you get a lot of spotlight.
Yes, you get a lot of spotlight, and the community gives you a chance also. If someone comes out and he says, I want to sing and I want to become a singer, if he has one wedding and he's sings one wedding and he's pretty decent, or he gives out a single and he's very decent, chances are he will get picked up. It's a lot easier in the world of talent, especially.
Oh, wow, it's gehargert wenn ich zoek mit the talent. Oy vey. Because I wanted to say, yeah, I get that chance. I zoek talented. Oh.
Within the community, if a guy writes an article and it's good,
A very nice gang.
he's not going to have a hard time getting it published.
The Tickle Gang heißt das? 98, huh? 98 of the radio, nein, meint Avegan. At a 98.
If anybody wants to act, it's not that difficult to get an audition to one of the shows and one of the plays or one of the movies that we do. It's actually pretty easy. People always ask me, what
Als je weer dat act voor de next play. Herr Badiner, ga je brengen me? Ik ben nog maar ready.
take to become an actor? I said, it's a phone call. And then you'll come down and we'll give you an audition. And the audition is not going to be like a whole official audition. I spoke to someone recently that came once for an audition. He tells me, before I walked in, I was like really nervous because like I'm going in like among the lions. It's like, he says, I walked into the room. He mentioned all the names that were sitting there. I was there as well. It was by the last show that we did. And he's like, first I was like, okay, take a deep breath. And then he says, once I just started speaking, I started realizing, no, we're all here for the same reason. We want to entertain. So either I'm going to get the part, or I'm not going to get the part.
Mm-hmm. It's very nice. I hear that. I get that. So to wrap up a little bit about
When is the next audition? Ich habe keine Ahnung. But the problem is, ich denke, ich kann lines. So, but maybe one day, maybe.
I'm going to play a little bit so we get a sense of how these plays look.
Mr. Callahan.
Callahan?
Dit Callahan. Mr. Callahan. Ich gebe das so ist. Aber dit is zoveel her.
Was meinst du? Jetzt treffen wir langs nicht hier.
Oh.
Safe!
What we see from the viewer's end of plays is a male-only cast. Are there none Hasidim?
Hoe zei deze techniek voor dat? Brooklyn act die jeden Tag. Get. Vater komt eruit ook. The next attendant zich even aan. I'll be dressed.
And are there women involved behind the scenes that we don't know of?
Very few. I mean, women barely. I'm trying to think if there was any show that I was involved with. The only women that I would know that are involved in the shows are the women that are from the venue.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning they're not part of the production, they're part of the venue. So sometimes the venue would have a stage director or someone that either stagehands or whatever it is that they are providing. That could be women, and otherwise you barely. I don't remember any women being involved. Oh, there is one lady happens to be that she does costumes for certain shows. I don't know if she still does it. I'm not sure, but I remember that she used to do it for a while. So she was kind of involved behind the scenes. Non-Hasidim.
Wait, just a second before you go to non-Hasidim. Do you read your lines to your wife, or are there men who involve their wives?
Yeah, there are many. I don't because for me I have a different way how I prepare for a show. But there are many guys that actually sit with their wives and read the lines and
Mm-hmm.
they come back. My wife said maybe to do this way or that way or whatever it is. So yeah, I know that the women are involved very much, and there are certain shows that if we can work out, let's say like a certain section or whatever it is for the wives and the daughters of the actors to come, so we sometimes try to work that out. There are very few times that the women are actually in the audience, and if yes, it's only like if it could really be worked out, like they're in the lighting room or whatever. Also, it would make most guys uncomfortable to have women around, especially in the dressing rooms, and then you take off a shirt and you have to run to the other room because your costume's over here and your mic is over there, and it's like you run out and there's a woman standing there. It's like almost like she's in my locker room, like especially talking about Hasidic guys that certain modesty in a certain way. So it would just create an uncomfortable situation. But we had by one show we had in one of the rooms backstage, there was a Hasidic lady from Kirzhal, from Monroe, like a Spitzel lady, was sitting there with a sewing machine.
Spitzel lady.
for anybody that needed, like last minute touch ups on their costumes or whatever. So it was like, it was interesting that they, they found this lady that she just sat in that room. She had, I think she wasn't even by herself. I think she had maybe another woman with her. But yeah, anybody that, like last minute things like there's a button fell off, or, I go on stage and I feel like my costume is loose somewhere, I got to fix it up. So we had that in the past as well.
Interesting. What about non-Jews? Are non-Jews involved? I'm guessing with the venue, obviously, or non-Hasidim.
Yes, with the venue for sure. Sometimes with the lighting, the mic system could bring along. From our end, it's very tough because the shows are in Yiddish, so they have to be able to follow. So it would be very difficult for them. So moving props and these things is one thing. So we have a mix. Like when it comes to moving props and putting things in place and help. So let's say makeup. There's one guy, Moshe Grimfeld, that he is the makeup artist, for many years, a good friend of mine. So he would bring along non-Jewish...
Dit is again van Moshe Greenfeld. And by the way, Moshe Greenfeld ken ik van mijn Catcher Camp.
Makeup artists as well, just to have a bigger team to be able to cover more faces at the same time. And since in the Jewish world there aren't many that do it, there's maybe not even a handful of men that do theatrical makeup, especially not to a real high standard. There are there are those that play around a little bit in camp or whatever, like small productions, but like for a big production you need real high end. So he usually brings along non-Jewish people as well. But otherwise in the production it would be very difficult.
Hasidic men all have beards. Is part of makeup to hide it sometimes?
Sometimes. It's very difficult. Those that have their beards hidden, usually automatically it creates a little bit of a fat face, double chin or whatever you want to call it, because like they have to prosthetics put it on. So it adds like a whole new character to the person. So we try to avoid it as much as possible. But when it's really needed, it's really needed.
Brooklyn fragt Sally, wist the makeup? Moshe Greenfeld. What do you mean? I got to repeat him to your house. Sally, you also have a double chin? It's a joke because he said about double chin and beard.
So we have done it in the past. I know I've done it on myself. They've done prosthetics once when it was needed, but I hate it. It's I mean the whole makeup situation is not an easy thing, but especially once it comes to prosthetics, you can sit on the chair for an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Yeah.
Dit is gewoon eens. Major grootste actors in movies zitten 8 Schuhe auf dem Winkel. Sie machen de make-up und nur im gaan ze raus acten.
To work on covering your beard and getting
again, ich verstehe. Zij machen dat in hundreds of millions of dollars. I get it.
Oh.
Shading and everything.
Oh, interesting. That's so interesting. Is it hard to write stories without women, or it's natural to you?
For me, it's very natural. Because it used to be that they used to always do it that, let's say, the mother passed away, and now the kids are by themselves, and they go through some kind of a thing, whatever they're going through. And the making it that the mother passed away helped them from two aspects. It helped them from the aspect that there's no mother, so there's no woman involved. There's a father, but there's no mother. And it also added a certain, feeling and emotion that the kid is grew up without a mother, and then it adds a lot of emotions.
It adds a lot of drama.
Yeah, they would add scenes like going to the mother's graveside or something like that to kind of happen. When I started writing, one of the first things that I abolished was that. I can always say that I pioneered in that, I think. To just stop doing that. You don't want to involve a mother, just don't involve a mother. Just don't talk about it.
Well, nicht gute makeup doesn't look good. It doesn't look natural, in a sense. Because it's nicht schwer to make a mensch auskicken something else. So... the better it is, the better it makes.
Other room, whenever we see the stage, she's in the other room. Doesn't mean that she's not part of the story, she's not involved, and we just don't talk about it. So for me, since when I started doing that, I think...
All the 3,000 people, or the 2,900 was geschrieben, for them it makes a difference.
One of the first shows that I wrote was probably still had that. It was a camp play. But then I was like, no, I'm not doing that. We're not killing everyone. I'm just going to let them live and let the kid have both parents and let them be nice, happy families, and they're going through whatever the story is, whatever their venture is. I kind of see myself as pioneer in a lot of things, I would say, in the play industry, in Jewish entertainment industry. That being one of them, the idea that we're using full sets instead of sceneries. I don't know if you remember the plays back in the days used to be basically a scenery, and they would bring in a table and a chair. I was the one that fought for, we should start actually building sets. Stage, let it be a beautiful set. And I myself am kind of upset with myself right now for doing that, because the play became more about the sets than about the act, but okay. So yeah.
What else?
When the interns...
Deze is een interessante recognition. Sucht dat we machen props, en nog hat sich gechanged die ganze Sache von der Play zu the props, und das hat nicht lebt. Izzy. Ich kann von du sein. Have a lovely and awesome night.
I'm sure you heard of the intern.
Yeah, it's a series of very popular, more modern plays.
There are 3 popular companies that are doing shows these days. There are the intern plays, that they call the interns. Intern actually means underneath. There are we call the Epic Production, which is one company that I work for, and then there is King's Yiddish Plays that just started recently that I also work with them. So the intern plays, I was involved in the first maybe 7, 8 plays that they did. I think they're up to, it's now 20 years since when they started.
Are there songs in the play also? Are there songs as a part of it?
So songs are part of the shows. However, it is very tricky because some people love it, some people hate it, and it kind of became the restroom break for many. So whenever a song starts, you will see people from the crowd getting up. So
Ooh, wow.
every production now is trying to either eliminate the songs or do it very creatively. So they would do it not just one person, one actor getting up and singing a song. They would do it like a choir or a musical piece or really interactive and getting the crowd maybe involved in the singing or something like that. What we have done on our end is the epic production team. We did a song that was more like an uplifting song, more like a song that people would enjoy and not want to leave. In the Yiddish King's Yiddish Plays company, we have abolished songs completely by this last play. However, we did do the introduction to the play and the conclusion of the play in a song, and we did a comical song in the middle.
Mhm.
Fun comical song where like two guys are like fighting about something, whatever it is, and
So the musicals. You want to make a musical? Mach a musical. Was mach a play? Mach a play, huh, Sally?
fighting within a song. So everybody's trying to like come up with their own thing. And if your question is going to be if I sing any songs, the answer is absolutely not.
I figured not because I've never seen you sing in anything, and I've watched a lot of things you were in.
Yeah,
I-
I sing.
But there is in the plays also built-in comic bits. Like it's like a chunk of comedy. It's not so interwoven. It's like these funny characters come on the stage and do a comedy bit, right?
So,
And you're often a part of that.
So yes and no. So meaning there are shows where they do a chunk of comedy for like 15, 20 minutes, a half hour.
I mean, more like 3-4 minutes.
Yeah, so then they have like these little bits, or they would do like a certain character that is like a comical character that would constantly come in and give some comic relief. So it depends on the show. To be very honest, I myself, even though people look at me as comical, I hate doing comedy.
Really? Why do people look at you as comical?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I mean, I do have comedy things out there. I do have comedy bits out there, and I was involved in comedy pieces over the years. So I guess it kind of like automatically relates to that. But I personally, I enjoy drama over comedy anytime.
I'm asking because I've seen you in the Teflikte Tzitzis, meaning the yellow garb, the hat.
Right. I've been doing this for so many years now. It was kind of a character that I played on Purim and Minkach for years.
And speaking of this character, you also look very different because we discussed this before the interview. You lost a lot of weight.
The last show that I did, I mean, so the last play that I
Brooklyn, er zoekt er jetzt. Jetzt. Wegen du weet.
the last play that I did, until now, I've lost close to 100 pounds.
Are you getting a ton of comments?
100 pounds.
You go about your change of appearance.
Yeah, so I spoke about it on Convas. I gave 2 or 3 interviews about it.
So let's wrap up this interview. I learned so many fascinating things. Thank you for being so patient. I want to wrap up by telling the viewers what Kalmvasser is. You've mentioned it early in the beginning of the interview and now again.
Okay, so Kalmavasser is, the best way to explain it, is the kosher Yiddish radio. Not radio station, but radio. Meaning it's mainly on the phone, where you call in a number, and it's like a phone hotline. You call in the number, and there are so many things to listen to, whether it's news, current events, interviews, and interviews could be about current events, interview politics, or whatever it is. Interviews could be about certain events that are going on in the community. Endless content of Jewish kosher Yiddish entertainment. I myself have 2 buttons on that. One is what we call Chikavanize, which means
Funny news.
cute news. Let's say like the deer ran into a store, or the news that you're not going to hear in the regular news outlet because it's not like real news, but it's cute, it's funny, and I usually try to add a little bit of humor to it. Add some of my own spice to the piece of news that I'm giving over. So that's one thing that I have. And the other thing that I have is actually where I'm telling a story, and every story has 10 episodes. So it's almost like following a TV series, I would say. I mean, it's not really a TV series because each story is its own completely own story, but it goes 10 episodes each story. Each episode I would say is approximately between 15 and 20 minutes probably. And every Sunday the next episode goes up. So right now I'm up to towards the end of story number 15, which is 150 episodes approximately.
What does it mean to have 2 buttons?
It means that I have 2 different things that I send in. It's very simple.
But you say buttons because people dial on the phone.
Yeah, because they dial it in, so I consider it buttons. But even if they go online, it's a, I don't know, I just, for myself, I know if this is how people quote it, this is how I named it, but I think the easiest way to refer to it is I have a button on Kamavasa. I think this is the terminology that's being used.
Do you get to know how many views you get or how many listens you get?
I don't, because it's not something really that is being shared. The only time that I actually asked them for a number is because someone that wanted to advertise on my thing, meaning like I should mention their company,
Yeah.
whatever it is. They just wanted to get a rough number of what kind of number we're talking about, and based on that be able to charge for the ad. So that's the only time when we discuss numbers, but otherwise the numbers he keeps very to himself. Rightfully so. I mean, but we are talking about worldwide. This is not just the tri-state area. This is probably the biggest thing that ever happened in the Yiddish-speaking community.
It's massive. And everyone's walking around on their phones listening to Kamvasser.
Yeah, I mean, I was just in Israel about 7 weeks ago. I was in Israel, and I was by Kever Rachel, which is the tomb of Rachel, and this Israeli guy comes over to me. He looks like very, very, very ultra Hasidish. Like you can see that it's like the real deal. And he comes over to me and he's like, "Are you Ari Brown?" I say, "Yeah." He says, "I just want to thank you. You saved me from what he called Shemir Sanai, which means guarding his eyes, not to look where he's not supposed to look." And I'm looking at him like, where exactly do you want to look, and how am I of any help? What are we discussing here? So he tells me, look, when you walk in the street, there's all, there are all types of posters hanging, there's all types of advertisement, and you're passing all types of people, and I don't want to look around, and I want to guard my eyes, and I want to keep myself holy, and it's very difficult sometimes. He says, from when, the past couple of years, you have your stories and your things, I put in my earphones, and I just listen to your stories, and you kind of take me, I'm so focused on your story when I'm walking on the street, that I don't look around, and if I do look, I don't even notice anything, because I'm so into the story. So
You get comments like that, and then you get comments of people telling me that they've missed exits off the highway because of me, where they've listened to the story and they were so into it that they kind of. I mean, if you listen to the story, you'll see that it's very monotone. It's very. I go very straightforward. I don't start yelling and screaming in the middle. I don't become all emotional. I go very straightforward. So when a person listens to it, they literally just start, floating along with the story.
Mm-hmm. It's almost hypnotic, which you, by the way, also do a little bit.
Yeah, I do it as well. It's really fun projects that I like doing.
You do a lot of things. We discussed even our little handy before when we were setting up the interview.
Yeah, I try. There's a show that I recently started called Ari and Friends. I don't know if you got to see the ad for it or not, but if not, I'll send it in. Ari and Friends is basically, imagine a night show, where they bring on guests and talk and play games or whatever it is, but it is geared for children, for families to sit and enjoy together. So first episode I had, which we just released, we had two entertainers, which one of them is a very famous magician, juggler. He does like a very fun show, a good friend of mine, Nussi Friedman. And then I had a different entertainer, someone that does hypnosis. And we did a whole show, and we went afterwards to a donut factory where we did a bunch of games over there that we races between us and whatever it is, how to make the donuts and how to this and how that. So it's like a fun show that we're working on.
Wow, very cool.
And I'm really hoping. I mean, this literally started rolling up in the past, I would say, 2 days, but it seems like it's going to become a reality, which is I will be going around to various stores, businesses, and kind of show what they do, interview the boss, interview maybe one of the employees or whatever it's like. And
one of the, also wie heißt der? Fried.
Promote it in an interesting way. So that's another venture that we're driving off onto right now.
This in particular, doing videos of people's businesses in the community, which by the way, I'm also very interested. So when you go and you get access, you can say Frida Weisel also wants to do a video about your business. Thank you. But also it has opened a whole new niche, which is social media creators who make social media videos about businesses in the community, parts of the community, but for the community. Whereas my videos are for a wider audience outside of the community. They're making it for people in the community who are interested. They want to know what's going on in the community. And that's another part of our whole entertainment scene evolving that's really interesting.
Look at it this way. When it comes to the Jewish world, we don't have advertisements like Coke and Nike. And within the community, most billboards will not be about the big worldwide companies. So advertising by us is a huge market. Because we...
dat Indik. Ze doen dat Indik, was toch toen we maken de video's.
Create not only the advertisement, but we create the platform as well. So you have newspapers and you have magazines, and it's all for the community, by the community. So automatically we have this opportunity, and we try to. So a person like myself, I'm going to try to cash out on it or optimize on it as much as possible, because this is right down my alley, and if I can provide the service in a quality way, I'm going to jump on it.
Yeah, I hear you. I would also like to jump on it. Maybe one day I'll be able to jump on it as well. Well, I'm going to be linking in the video description so many things that you mentioned, the projects that you're working on, and if your new series will be out, I'll link that as well. I learned so much from you. I had such a nice time talking to you. Thank you so much for the time, especially now with your newborn little baby. I'm sure you have your hands full, and I wish you so much luck with all the projects. Maybe we can check back in the future and see how things have changed.
It would be amazing, and I just want to say, I know your audience is a very wide audience. I would imagine a very broad, wide audience, and I really enjoyed the positivity that's going on your channel, especially talking about the Chiddush community, and which is why I came on and we did this interview, because it's important for people outside of the community as well to kind of learn what's going on within the community, and I just felt like, for them to find out and to hear about the entire entertainment industry that's going on, and we literally have plays and movies and audio and whatever it is, and it's huge. It's a huge industry for our community. I think it's a beautiful thing, and I say that back in the days, if I wanted to make someone smile, I had to go down to the person's house or hospital bed or whatever it was, perform for 5 minutes when the person smiled, and then I left, and it was over. In today's days, I get to record it once, and it's for a lifetime. It's out there and makes people smile and happy, and to give people entertainment is the most beautiful thing in the world. So thank you for letting me share my experience.
Thank you. I have to tell you, I've been doing this for a long time, and I've heard from so many people over the years who are so appreciative of what I do, who so like what I do, and yet it's been
coming here was positive as well. No.
To get men to make this cross, although I have had Kosich men, I've had Ellie Spitzer, I've had Kosich men, but I think I've had women, of course, who are performers in the community like Crazy Freed. Everyone I feel like who comes on maybe makes a little bit of a step by being willing to share, because my audience is outward facing. But it meant a lot to me. It meant a lot to me that you were willing to do this, and you got to teach me, because all these things you're talking about, the advertising market, all these things I have an interest academically, like I have an interest in understanding and documenting. And you made me smile. It was a mitzvah.
We covered, I think, maybe the tip of the iceberg.
I know. Well, there's more to come. Well, I'll let you go. Thank you so much, and also thank you to the viewers on YouTube and the podcast listeners as well.
I definitely like the video. The number 430th like. Very smooth, very easygoing. Wow. Stark aan gehabt. Ari Abramovich, I liked it. Ari? Yeah. Alright, Gebra. Zitzat, sich zu gesegnen. Ich will geben Schkoich für jeder eine, was sie durchgehen für der erste one, in der was sie durchgehen für der zweite one. He is a süßer guy. He's so smooth. 55 minutes in Chomachisch gejuckt oder anything. Ich will geben Schkoich für jeder eine, was sie durchgehen für eine lange Zeit, kurze Zeit, noch umgezogen auf eine andere Tab, auf viele mehr Jahre der andere Tab. Warum ich? Ich meine die. Thank you alle Gebra, was haben gechat, haben gleich comments, was haben geliked, was haben geshared, was haben subscribed. Ingeworden members. Schkoich für wie heißt der? Ich habe vergessen seine Namen. Kommt sich mit Patch, gebe mal Superchat. 2 Ihrem gegeben Superchats. Thank you both. Tolch hat gegeben eins in... Ich denke nicht. Der andere. And there was another guy who gave. En ook het van Sally van gave memberships, van Zach gave memberships. Oiber gegeben demo. Housekeeping. Morgen live Nana Zeiger in the free. Tuesday morning. That's it with housekeeping. Thank you all for being here. En me try nog te geven voor Izzy a membership. So it's gonna take. All right. It was a pleasure. Thank you all. Until next time, stay kind to one another. I'll talk to you.